We are live. Welcome, guys, back to another edition of the Earle Sports Bet Show. I'm Timothy Earle. Today, we will recap these Christmas games that happens, and we will end up talking a little bit about some of the games that are going to go on today, and how some of the games were impacted. We did have one of our contest plays, which unfortunately was the Broncos, which was stupid. So 0-1 start to the contest, not entirely great. For that. We're also live on TikTok. We'll see how long we're live on TikTok because TikTok hates me. If you guys are watching on TikTok, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel Earle Sports Bets on YouTube. Just so when I ultimately do get taken off again, you guys will know where to find me. So Earle Sports Bets on YouTube. Anyways, we'll quickly go over. I don't think that. We have one game that started, which is one of the bowl games, Central. I believe it's Central Michigan and Northwestern. Yes, and we like Central. I think Central Michigan keeps it close. So we do have Central Michigan in that game. I don't know what the score is at the moment. We can pull that up real quick. But it's actually 0-0 with 4 minutes to go in the first. So off to a decent start there. Free picks for today. New Mexico State. New Mexico. I think they will win their bowl game. That's against Minnesota. And then I like the Miami Heat tonight to win their game. That is against the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. So we'll see how those go. Records are scrolling across the bottom on YouTube if you guys are interested in that. If you guys are interested in grabbing, going over to picksandparleys.net if you guys are interested in the other stuff. So all of that is available. We will look back at what happened yesterday. I'll pull up BetStamp, even though I haven't tracked any of my stuff yet. Is he real? Oh, Terry's live now. That's great. It's probably going to end up being a short show anyway. I took the over. We'll start off. Under in the next game was a loser. Team total for Dallas was a loser. Oklahoma City. The Thunder have a Spurs problem. The Thunder have now lost 3 straight games to the Spurs, and I keep thinking that they're going to bounce back against them, and they just don't. So I don't know why I keep doing that. That's kind of stupid. Minnesota eliminates Detroit. They went 23-10. Minnesota has won 5 straight games now. So interesting to see that. The Warriors win by 10. They cover that spread. The Rockets absolutely blow out the Lakers. They win by 25. Nice winner there. I did have the under in the Broncos game, so I did cash that one. And I had the over in the Nuggets game, which 280 points went into overtime. And probably what was the NBA game of the year. Because that game was insane. I wish I had – there was something that was a post that was – I think I liked on Twitter showing all the different scores in that game and how it kind of – and how that game kind of went out. Nope, I guess not. I guess I didn't like it. That's fine. Because the Nuggets went on like a 18-3 run or something like that in overtime. Joker had 18 points in overtime, which is just insane. So it's just been an interesting run. In that game. Unfortunately, I was asleep for all of it because I went to bed early last night and wasn't awake for it. But I had the over. That was nice to wake up to in the morning. Yeah, the only significant thing that happened in the NFL yesterday was the elimination of the Detroit Lions. They will not be in the playoffs after being one of the best teams in football last year, which is interesting. which I believe that gives us all of the playoff teams that are going to be in for the NFC. No, it does not. We know all but two, or all but one spot. The Eagles are guaranteed the NFC East. The Bears and Green Bay Packers are guaranteed their things. I believe with a win for the Bears or a Packers loss, the Bears will clinch the division. Seattle Seahawks, 49ers, and LA Rams all in the playoffs. 12-3, 11-4, 11-4. With Seattle, if Seattle can win one more game, they are clinching the division, I believe. Actually, it's a win and like a Niners loss or something like that. But the one NFC thing that's not clinched yet is the NFC South, which you've got the Panthers who are sitting at 8-7, Bucks sitting at 7-8, and it's going to come down to, most likely it will come down to Week 18 because they play each other again in Tampa, unless one of the dogs wins in the game of Panthers upsetting the Seattle Seahawks or the Dolphins upsetting the Tampa Bay Bucks. If any of the upsets happen, then most likely, not most likely. If any of the upsets happen, then the Panthers will clinch the division. If not, then we'll go from there. In terms of the AFC playoff picture, we already know New England and Buffalo are going to be in. We just don't know who's going to win that division. The Steelers need a win or a Ravens loss to clinch that division. I believe the Texans need to win or a Colts loss to clinch the final playoff spot. And the Broncos and Chargers are both in. It's just who's going to fight for the division. If the Chargers lose on Saturday, it'll be the Broncos. If not, it'll come down to Week 18 when they play each other. If the Chargers win against the Texans, the Broncos and the Chargers will play for the division and the 1 seed. Right? And the 1 seed? No, it wouldn't be the 1 seed. They would just be fighting for the division in the following week, which would guarantee home field. But definitely going to be a big game there. It'll be Broncos going for the 1 seed or Chargers going just to win the division. But lots of stuff going down in the NFL, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Bowl season. I'm going to pull up the bowl games. It's currently 0-0 at the end of the first between Central Michigan and Northwestern. You got New Mexico and Minnesota later at 4:30, and you've got FIU and UTSA at 8. By the way, I know I was off for a couple days in a row. No show tomorrow because I will be on my way to see the Pirates play in the Go Bowling Military Bowl in Annapolis. We're going to be leaving here at 4 o'clock in the morning, so obviously no show. There'll be a free pick video out for it, but there will be no show for that one. Bowl games tomorrow include Pittsburgh and East Carolina, Penn State and Clemson, UConn and Army, Georgia Tech and BYU, Miami of Ohio and Fresno State, North Texas and San Diego State, Virginia and Mizzou, and then LSU and Houston. So a big bowl day tomorrow. Eventually, we'll get back to the college football playoffs on January 1st, which I'm not currently liking that line movement for Texas Tech. So we'll see from there, but should be interesting. And that line's moving towards Miami, so we'll end up talking over those games next week. But there is some bowl games going on. NHL returns tomorrow. I'll quickly tag on the standings there. Currently, if the playoffs were to start in the NHL today, Red Wings would be would be tied with. Technically, Carolina would be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Detroit would win the Atlantic. So it'd be Detroit versus the Capitals in the playoffs. It would be Carolina versus Florida, which would be fun. Montreal versus Tampa Bay. Philadelphia versus New York. In the Western Conference, if the current President's Trophy winners would be Colorado, they got 61 points. They've been going off this year. And then the 1 seed on the other side, at the moment, there's 3 teams tied at 44 points. Right now, the Golden Knights have the edge over the other 2. So Golden Knights would have the 2 seed in the Eastern and the Western Conference. The other playoff matchups would be Avalanche versus Mammoth, which is actually kind of fun. The Golden Knights versus the Kings, Ducks and Oilers, and then Stars and Wild. So that would be an interesting playoff picture there. But if we go and look at the Eastern Conference playoff picture or Eastern Conference standings, the current last wild card spot has 42 points, and that is the Florida Panthers. Tied with them is the Rangers, but Rangers have played 3 more games. Ottawa is a point behind for the wild card, along with the Devils and the Bruins are all a point behind, all sitting at 41. And then sitting at 40 is the Buffalo Sabres. So there are 6 teams within 2 points of each other for that last wild card spot. Yes, it's still very early, but it's been a very fun little race to watch back and forth for the wild card. So keep an eye on the wild card standings. That's a lot of fun to watch. NBA, after the Christmas slate, currently the Pistons are the best team in the Eastern Conference. They're 24-6, but they're not the best team in the NBA. That would still be the Oklahoma City Thunder. Number 2 in the Western Conference is currently the Spurs at 23-7, Nuggets 22-8, and then the Lakers at 19-10. But honestly, when I look at the Western Conference, Thunder, Spurs, and Nuggets are the only 3 teams in the Western Conference I could really see winning it. If you look at the Eastern Conference, I have not a clue. Yes, the Pistons are playing great. Do we trust them in the playoffs yet? I don't know if I do at the moment, but we'll see. But that's kind of the updated standings and everything after the Christmas break. Anything interesting going on? Just scrolling through Twitter real quick, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. No big trades, I want to mention one thing, and I know it's not baseball season, and that's great. Shout out to the Oakland Athletics or Sacramento, whatever they want to be called right now. Over on Christmas, they signed Tyler Soderstrom, one of their young guys, to a 7-year, $86 million extension, buying out some of his arbitration years. I absolutely love that. He is a very solid bat, and he's going to be a very solid player for the Athletics, and they bought into him cheap because 7 years for $86 million is around $12 million a year. That's a really good price for Tyler Soderstrom. Soderstrom's extensions also included a club option for an 8th year and maxes out at $131 million. So with incentives and rewards and stuff, he could go even higher than the $86 million. But I really like that move for the Oakland Athletics. And then Pete Fairbanks, one of the top relievers on the market, signed a 1-year, $13 million deal. Stayed in Florida, but went to Miami. He was signed with the Marlins. I really like that move for the Marlins. Have a veteran bullpen arm in there to kind of corral that very young bullpen. So I really like that move. And yes, I'm going to keep tagging on baseball stuff because it is actually going to be a lot of fun. Soon I'm going to start really diving into college baseball because that's going to be a lot of fun. I don't have any odds or anything for teams to win their conference, but we got World Series odds, and at the moment LSU is the favorite to repeat. Georgia, Arkansas, UCLA, and Tennessee round out the top 5 for odds. The best non-Power 4 school is Coastal Carolina, who made the finals last year. They're 22-1. Oregon State's at 28-1, which has a little bit of value because the Beavers are always pretty good at baseball. But there's a bunch of good teams in there. Dalbap is always up there. They always make a regional. Duke could be a very interesting team, although most of their coaching staff just went to Virginia. So keep that one in mind. That's going to be interesting to see how that one moves. I believe Virginia is 90-1. Yeah, they're out there. But I will say ECU's 200-1. They've got a lot of young guys coming back. I think they're going to be an interesting squad. There was one other Murray State. I think can make an. I think could be an not to win it all, but to be another team that kind of can be a little bit of a moneymaker when betting it, because they're gonna be a team that I look at a bunch. Smaller schools, Hawaii. I'm gonna want Hawaii a bunch this year. But we'll tag in more for college baseball when that season comes around, because I love me some college baseball. But not really a whole lot for today. Once again, we're taking New Mexico in the later game against Minnesota. I like the Miami Heat tonight. So we're going to take them as well. But that's pretty much it for this edition of the Earle Sports Bet Show. No show tomorrow. Once again, I will be at the East Carolina Pittsburgh Military Bowl game. I will be back on tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'll be back on Monday, and then I'll get back to doing this full time again, because holiday season was crazy, and we got a bunch of stuff. So keep that in mind, and then we'll get back to doing everything the right way. So, but that's going to do it for this edition of the Earle Sports Bet Show. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.